Month of January 2020, I will be contributing any and all contributions that the channel receives through PayPal or Patreon and the profits from merchandise sales to the Alzheimer's Association at www.alz.org. This is in honor of my father, who is struggling with Alzheimer's. It is a terrible, terrible disease that wrecks the lives of the people who have it and greatly impacts the lives of the people who care for them. Please contribute generously. I will be matching all contributions up to $200. Thank you for your generous support. Hey, it's Darren. Yeah, I got your email. Rejected, huh? I can't honestly say that I'm surprised. It was not one of the best resumes I've ever seen. You know, that could have been you I was talking about there. But you're here, so now it's time to learn something. This is Resume Action Verbs, and we are starting right now. Back in 1998, when I was a journalism student at Boston University, I had an assignment to write a newspaper article for my print journalism class, and I chose a story that came across the wire about a restaurant, a local restaurant in Boston, being shut down because mouse feces was found in the kitchen. I was excited. I was absolutely confident that I was getting an A on that assignment, and I turned it in all proud, and you can imagine my shock and surprise when I got the assignment back from the professor, and on it was a big fat C+ and a one-sentence comment. Show me the mountain. Those 5 words changed how I write from that day forward. And in this video, I'm going to teach you how to take that same approach to your resume. What's up, you guys? Darren DeLuca here. Welcome to the Ramblin' Recruiter, the channel that's dedicated to helping you find the job of your dreams and make the most of your career. I've been a recruiter for 2 decades now, and in that time, I've learned a thing or two about hiring and getting hired. Now I'm here to share what I know with you. If that sounds good, subscribe and click the bell to enable notifications so you never miss anything again. Looking for a way you can get more job tips off of YouTube? Want to continue the conversation? Join my LinkedIn group. It's absolutely 100% free. The link is below in the description, and you'll have an opportunity to network with like-minded job seekers, ask questions, and see amazing job opportunities. Writing in passive voice is very popular in business. It gives things an air of importantness and makes people think that they're smarter than they really are. If you've ever seen any kind of legal contract whatsoever, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Each individual word is not necessarily difficult to understand. You academically know what those words mean, but when you string them together in a passive, flowery way, suddenly it just doesn't make that much sense. Here, check out this example. Writing in passive voice on your resume, however, is a great way to get it tossed right in the trash. It's boring, and you have less than 10 seconds to grab a recruiter or a hiring manager's attention. You don't have any time to be boring. You don't have any bandwidth to be boring. Your resume cannot be boring. It should get right to the point. The very verbs and words and phrases that you use on that resume should actually be like punches, like hammer blows. You need action verbs. What are action verbs? Simply put, they are verbs that connotate action, not a state of being, but action of a physical, mental, or emotional state. Action verbs are like punches. They're like hammer blows. They move the dialogue forward with no room for ambiguity. They get right to the point. I'm about to show you one of my favorite examples from history of the use of clear, active voice and action verbs to make a very, very strong point with just a few words. This is one of my personal favorites, and I think you'll see exactly what I mean when I say each and every word sounds like the blow of a hammer on a concrete wall.
General Secretary Gorbachev, if you seek peace, if you seek prosperity for the Soviet Union and Eastern Europe, if you seek liberalization, come here to this gate. Mr. Gorbachev, open this gate. Mr. Gorbachev. Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Here's a more practical example for a resume of what I mean when I say active voice and active verbs versus passive voice and passive verbs. Which one of these two statements makes more sense to you? In my role as project manager, I was responsible for implementing cost-saving measures. As a result, it was determined that the total savings to the company were $50,000. As project manager, I implemented cost-saving measures that resulted in $50,000 of savings to the company. Both of these statements say the same thing. One gets right to the point. One beats around the bush. One belongs on your resume, one does not. When you're creating or updating your resume, resist the temptation to use flowery, passive language. It doesn't make you sound smart. It doesn't make your resume seem more important or more official. What it does is it makes it boring. And as I said before, you just don't have time to be boring. People's attention spans are so short nowadays. Recruiters and hiring managers alike have 100 other resumes to review for each and every position. You just don't have time, cannot afford to be boring. Remember what you're dealing with. When doing initial screening of resumes, a recruiter might have 99 resumes beyond yours to look at in a 2-hour period. How much time do you really think they have to dedicate to each one of them? Not much, and if you bore them, you're just going to go right in the trash. Your resume should metaphorically punch them in the face, not put them to sleep. So, how do you know if you're using passive verbs and passive language on your resume? Simple. You give it the zombie test. No, I'm not kidding. The zombie test. A great way to test if a verb that you're using is active or passive is to insert the phrase "by zombies" after the verb. If the sentence still makes sense, then you know it's a passive verb and you should change it. You should edit it, you should get rid of it. For example, a sales goal of $1 million was achieved by zombies in less than 1 year. That sentence makes sense. That's a passive verb, it's passive voice, don't use it. Here's a much better example. I achieved by zombies a sales goal of $1 million in less than a year. Doesn't make sense to insert by zombies in that sentence. That's active verbs, active voice, you know you're good to go there. Get it? Got it? Good. But wait, there's more. There's always more, isn't there? Now that you've got the zombie test, you can go back and review your resume, you can do the zombie test on your verbs and figure out where you might need to make some edits. But even more than that, it's important to remember that resumes, generally speaking, sound the same, right? People who are applying for the same job, generally speaking, have the same qualifications. They've worked for the same type of companies. Their resumes are going to be very, very similar. So how do you combat this? How do you stand out? You need your own list of top-tier action verbs that you can go back and edit your resume with to give it extra pop. You want to make it sparkle and shine. Seriously, imagine how many resumes a recruiter or a hiring manager sees in his or her job for a given position. The chances are very good they've seen many that look just like yours. You've got to find a way to float up to the top. Using these verbs that are not used every day and are not that common will give you an advantage. Now, if you're looking for advice for what should be on your resume from a content standpoint, check out my video up here that I've got linked to how to write a resume in 2019. Yes, it's a 2019 video, but hey, guess what? 2020 just started. It's still very relevant. We'll be updating that one for 2020 soon. But if you're looking for new language, new verbs, verbs with punch, keep watching. Here are some top verbs that will make your resume stand out. I've broken these up into different categories. And category 1, you increased something. Sales, customer satisfaction, efficiency, something else. Some of the best verbs that you can use in this case are accelerated, achieved, advanced, amplified, boosted, capitalized, delivered, enhanced, expanded, expedited, furthered, gained, generated, improved, lifted, maximized, outpaced, stimulated, sustained. In category number 2, you changed or improved something. Some of the best verbs here are centralized, clarified, converted, customized, influenced, integrated, merged, modified, overhauled, redesigned, refined, refocused, rehabilitated, remodeled, reorganized, replaced, restructured, revamped, revitalized, simplified, standardized, streamlined, strengthened, updated, upgraded, and transformed. In the third category, you managed a group of people. Some of the best verbs to use on your resume here are aligned, cultivated, directed, enabled, facilitated, fostered, guided, hired, inspired, mentored, mobilized, motivated, recruited, regulated, shaped, supervised, taught, trained, unified, and united. And in category 4, you brought in something, funding, resources, or partnership. Best verbs here are acquired, forged, navigated, negotiated, partnered, and secured. So now that you're overloaded with new verbs that are a big change from the same old tired guano that everybody else is using on their resume, go back, make some edits, make some changes, apply the zombie test to your resume, make sure that it's all in active voice using action verbs. If you do all that, you will definitely make your resume pop. It will sparkle, it will shine, and it will float up to the top of the pile. For those of you who are still watching, one of the best ways you can support this channel is through the purchase of merchandise. Now, you'll find a promo code on screen right now that will get you 10% off anything in my Teespring store. Links are below in the description. Who wouldn't want this face on a t-shirt or a mug? I mean, come on, really? This face right here? Who wouldn't want that? And as mentioned earlier, all profits generated from merchandise sales in the month of January will be donated to the Alzheimer's Association at www.alz.org, as will any and all contributions to PayPal or Patreon. Links are below in the description. This is in honor of my father. Thank you very much for your generous contributions. Much more research needs to be done in Alzheimer's. Enjoy the rest of your job searching day. Thanks for watching, and as always, I will see you next time. Stay classy, YouTube.